Hello friends, in the last class we have learnt about American Revolution, the background for American Revolution, the causes that led to American Revolution and how the course of events led to American Revolution, and finally what is the impact of American Revolution, the success of American Revolution, and how United States of America has been formed after the American Revolution. Today's session we will look at the significance or the impact of American Revolution. American Revolution is one of the great events of the world. It's very highly historically important event. It is not only important for America and Britain, it is also important for the entire history of the world and mankind. American Revolution is the first event that shook the foundations of British colonialism. Britain, we know, is one of the biggest and greatest colonial empires, largest colonial empires, and it suffered heavily due to the loss of American colonies. In fact, the British Empire is said to be the empire where the sun never sets. But the American Revolution and the subsequent independence of American colonies has hit the British international prestige in a very strong way. Not only the British colonialism, American Revolution shook the foundations of the entire system of colonialism of the world. In fact, we can say that American Revolution concluded the first phase of colonialism of the world, and it brought radical changes in the further colonialism not only of Britain but also of France, Dutch and other European nations. American Revolution provided a ray of hope for the depressed, downtrodden and colonized people of the world. It gave a large number of enlightened ideas to the world. Before the American Revolution itself, the ideas of natural rights, the ideas of social equality, the ideas of popular sovereignty were rising in the world. But American Revolution was the first event where these modern political and social ideas have been properly implemented in a nation. So, intellectual arena also saw a rise of many great events with the coming of American Revolution. So, American Revolution in one sense can be concluded as the first modern revolution of the world. Fine. Now, we will try to understand what is the impact of American Revolution. The impact of American Revolution we will try to categorize on three important counts. First, impact of American Revolution on America itself. Impact of American Revolution on America, I mean, what is the internal impact due to American Revolution? Second, we are supposed to understand on the second count what is the impact of American Revolution on England. We know that American Revolution, which is also nothing but the American War of Independence, actually was fought between the American colonies and their mother nation England. So, first and foremost we have to study what significant changes have been brought about in America and what is the impact of the independence of American colonies over the England. And finally, we should also understand what is the international impact of American Revolution. What is the international impact of the American Revolution? So, we will go in a step by step manner, beginning with the impact on America and its colonies, and then the impact on England, and finally over the entire world. Now, so we will understand now what is the impact of American Revolution on American colonies. First and foremost, American Revolution resulted in the formation of a great nation, United States of America, one of the largest and the most resourceful nation of the world, which at a later date went on to lead the entire world. A country which stood in the front of every technological, economic and social achievements. a country which played most important role in the two world wars. And after the World War II, the country which became the most powerful nation and began to dominate the entire lives of the human beings, the United States of America, has been formed with the American Revolution. So we can say the formation of USA itself is the most important outcome or the impact of American Revolution. United States of America initially was only formed out of the 13 North American colonies on the east coast of Atlantic, only on the east coast of the American continent. But at a later date, it further expanded from the Atlantic coast to the entire Pacific coast. In fact, it stood as a representative of entire American continents. Though it was initially a nation of the only North American coastal area, at a later date it represented North American continent and even South American continent in the international arena. So you will find that initially USA became a representative, or in fact a country which showed the identity of the American continent to the entire world. Fine. So this is the formation of USA itself is the first and foremost important outcome of American Revolution. Now we will again try to categorize the impact of American Revolution into three different categories or three different dimensions. First, we will see what is the political impact of American Revolution. What is the political impact of American Revolution over the American colonies? Fine. Now we will be discussing under the count of political impact, how did American colonies consolidated themselves as a nation? How did this process led to the formation of American Constitution, and how this American Constitution has proved to be very, very important for the rise and consolidation of the American nation. Also, we will here understand what were the conflicts that emerged during the formation of American Constitution and how these conflicts created fundamental ground for a very important future development called American Civil War. So that means now what we are going to discuss also serves as a background for our next topic, that is American Civil War. Fine. When we discussed about the causes for American Revolution, we studied and we understood the unique development and nature of American colonies. There were 13 North American colonies and all of them developed on unique lines. Each and every colony had a specific type of demography. They had a specific economic system. They had specific social practices, unique from other colonies. So it was a big daunting task. It was a very difficult task for the founding fathers of American nation to form all these 13 colonies into one single nation. The nation building was a very, very big challenge for the American leadership after the American unification. They struggled for around a complete decade in order to establish a proper national political system. In fact, during the course of American Revolution, we know that in 1776, during the Second Conference of Philadelphia, America was declared independent. 1776 represents the declaration of independence of American colonies. But during the declaration, they are also at war with England. So in the due course of war, they did not focus much on the future constitution of American nation. So in the year 1781, a temporary constitution or a temporary agreement was signed among the 13 American colonies, which provided the basic political and administrative system till the final constitution was formed. This temporary agreement is popularly called as Articles of Confederation. These are formally called as Articles of Confederation. In 1781, in fact, Thomas Jefferson, one of the most important intellectuals, he played a very important role in the drafting of these Articles of Confederation. As the name itself would suggest, it is suggesting that America has become confederation, where the 13 American colonies have been declared as 13 American states with huge autonomy. Articles of Confederation provided that the states can raise their own armies, the states can print their own currency, and they only provided for a central organization to coordinate called Central Congress. And the Central Congress, the organization which has been established, is called Central Congress. So the Central Congress is the federal authority. It was very weak, and the Central Congress only looked after the foreign policy matters and providing the armed attack, armed fight against England, and only it served as a court of appeal. So despite the declaration of American nation in 1776, American colonies continued to enjoy huge degree of autonomy. But unfortunately, this huge degree of autonomy did not provide a right ground for the molding of these 13 colonies into an American nation. There were many internal conflicts. There was many divergent opinions among the colonies. So even after the victory of American War of Independence in 1783, when American war has won and America became free of British onslaught, even after that the nation building process could not succeed because of the internal differences and because of the weak confederative system that has been provided by these Articles of Confederation. So we can say that Articles of Confederation provided a basic stability during war, but post-war it could not provide a further opportunity for the growth of American nation. Understanding this situation, the leaders of American Revolution, led by George Washington, formed another most important conference in order to form the American Constitution, called as 1787. This is very, very important. 1787 Constitutional Convention. 1787 Constitutional Convention. This Constitutional Convention was convened in 1787 at a very important place, a historical place of Philadelphia, under the leadership of the national war hero of American Revolution, George Washington. So it was this Constitutional Convention which set herself the task of drafting American Constitution. We all know the great importance of American Constitution. We will again revise them, but we have to understand that this Constitutional Convention of 1787 was also not free from different opinions. This Constitutional Convention also witnessed two major different and divergent opinions emerging in the American Constitution making process, and these two different opinions had a great tussle. First and foremost, there was a Democratic group or the Democratic fraction, and the other fraction was called as or referred to as aristocratic. So this Democratic group or a Democratic fraction of the conference, this believed that American Constitution should be based on the ideals that led to American Revolution. They strongly believed in the modern ideas of popular sovereignty, modern ideas of social and political equality, modern idea of gender equality, modern ideas of increasing the representation or the franchise to the public. In fact, they even had some elements of belief of racial equality. We can say this Democratic group or the fraction of this particular Constitutional Convention provided most important radical ideas. It represented the radical ideas of American Revolution. We know that in America there was a huge population of African Americans who have been brought to America to work in the plantations and other areas. These African Americans, most of them were considered as slaves. And this slavery was very important for the economic system or the economic development of America. So these democratic faction was so modern in their thinking, they were so radical in their thinking that they even began to believe in the racial equality. And finally, they believed that in order to implement this radical socio-economic and political program, the states should be given more autonomy. They believed that the central government must be very, very weak. It should only be left to some areas so that the states which are at the local level can take out and implement this social, economic and political program. So they were anti-federalists. They were anti-federal in their approach. And this democratic group is led by the great Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was the most important intellectual who led this democratic group. In fact, we will see that at a later date, this group even formed a new political party called the famous Democratic Party, which is even very, very popular in America today. So that Democratic Party has come from this thinking of this democratic group. As opposition to this democratic group, there was another group which was popularly called as aristocratic group. This group was led by the most important politician, John Adams. All of them, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, then you take George Washington, all of them played a very, very constructive role in the liberation of America from British rule. But after this liberation, now you find there were political and ideological differences. So democratic group is opposed by aristocratic group led by John Adams. This aristocratic group believed that, yes, American Revolution stands for modern social political ideas, but America is still not ready to implement all those ideas. We are still having economic problems. We have to consolidate our nation. The 13 colonies are having divergent thinking, divergent opinions. So in order to bring all of them together, in order to mold the American nation as a strong nation, we have to have a strong federation. So they believed that we need to have a strong federation and we should go a bit slow in the implementation of these modern ideas. They believed that step by step we have to implement. At one shot you can't bring about social, economic, political equality in America. So we need to do it step by step. Our fundamental question today is unification and strengthening of American nation. For that we need federation. So we understand that the Constitutional Convention of 1787, it was having two different opinions. A democratic opinion which believed in having a very loose federation and to implement radical socio-economic program. An aristocratic group which believed to have a strong federation and to go slow and step by step in implementing the reforms, and the primary responsibility or primary objective to be given on strengthening American nation. So there were two opinions. That's why even after 1 year of discussions, this Constitutional Convention could not create a new constitution for America. Then the question comes, how did it resolve? We know that American Civil War happened in the second half of 19th century, 1861. Civil War could be possible now also, because you have two different major opinions. Then how did the Civil War was avoided? How did these two different groups have been brought together? Here we have to again remember the contribution of the great man George Washington. No, when we look at the history of America, we get surprised how this country, which was formed only in 1775 or 1780s, could become so powerful and so dominant in the world. One very important point is, America at very critical juncture produced a great leadership. At the juncture of fighting with Britain, they produced a great leader, great military personality, George Washington. When there was civil war, they produced another great man, Abraham Lincoln. And then when there was great economic depression, again they found a man, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was able to uplift America from the great economic depression of 20th century. So this one point we have to remember, America has been producing such a great leadership at very, very critical junctures. George Washington was the war hero of American Revolution. He was not only a military leader, he was a great ideologue, and also he had great leadership qualities. So he was the man who was the head of this constitutional convention, was able to bridge the differences between these two groups and found out a common ground, and because of his effort, finally an American constitution has been formed, which took the element from both the groups but slightly tilted towards a conservative outlook, because George Washington also believed that at this juncture we must focus on unity of America, strengthening the integrity of American nation. So the ideas of George Washington and his great personality facilitated in the final formation of American Constitution. That's why it is said that George Washington is the first in peace, first in war, and first in the hearts of his own countrymen. So George Washington finally facilitated the formation of new American Constitution. In the year 1789, a new American Constitution has been formed and America has been declared as a federation. So the most important political impact of American Revolution is nothing but the formation of this new American Constitution. The American Constitution was finally ratified in 1789. Finally elected George Washington himself as the first president of American nation, United States of America. This bringing about American Constitution itself is a major significant outcome of American Revolution. American Constitution, it is very important now to understand the basic features of American Constitution. When you look at the basic features of American Constitution is the first written constitution of the modern world. It is the first modern republican constitution where the head of the state is an elected representative and the president post has been given enormous powers. Then America, because there were 13 different colonies, has adopted a new model called federation. It was the first proper federation of the world, where all the 13 American colonies have been declared as states and given some autonomy, whereas the federal government has been looking after important aspects like defense, currency and foreign affairs. So this federation has been formed. Then American Constitution also provided the most fashionable idea of those days, the separation of powers. It established 3 different organs of the state: legislature, executive and judiciary. The legislature again was divided into 2 different houses. There was House of Representatives and there was Senate. In fact, it is so interesting to know that in the House of Representatives, the representation from each colony is based on its population. But whereas it comes to Senate, in order to uphold the equality of these 13 colonies, each colony has been given equal membership, whether it is a very big colony or a very small colony. The membership to Senate is equal. Senate represents the basic ideals behind the American Constitution, where the 13 American colonies have been given equal importance. Then executive headed by the president, and finally and most importantly, American Constitution established an independent judiciary, Supreme Court. So the ideas that have been enshrined by Rousseau, Locke, Bentham and so many other writers of Age of Enlightenment have been finally implemented and composed in a single document called American Constitution. So this American Constitution provided the basic framework, provided the basic nutshell through which American nation began to yield herself, and USA, which was just a group of 13 divergent colonies, began to emerge as a great nation, an integrated nation. So the first and the most important political impact of American Revolution is the formation of American Constitution on the ideas of American Revolution. Now, after understanding this political impact, now we will look at what is the economic impact of American Revolution on American colonies. Economic impact. Of course, we know that the basic fight between Britain and American colonies happened over trade regulations. So this is very, very important. So the economic impact has been again categorized into two different divisions. The impact of American success in the civil war of independence provided for both, on one side, agricultural reform, and on the other side it provided for industrial growth. Two most important areas of economy got benefited due to American Revolution. First, we will understand how did the agriculture of America improved after USA has been formed, after the American nation has been formed. Before the American War of Independence, there was the system of aristocracy in America. We have just briefly understood in our first session. The aristocrats of America, they are popularly called as Tories. They owned thousands of acres of land. And these Tories were very, very loyal to Britain. In fact, during the American War of Independence, these were the population of America who supported Britain, Tories. So after the end of the American War of Independence, American colonists and the leaders of colonies decided that these Tories have played an anti-patriotic role, negative role in the revolution, so they have been punished. Their rights to property have been removed. Their huge estates, the huge landed estates have been confiscated, and then the areas or the estates that have been confiscated has been divided among small and middle peasants. And these small and middle peasants who began to take control of this great arable cultivable land began to go and support towards capitalist agriculture. And capitalist agriculture finally led to the increase in agricultural productivity, and also we can say that this also led to the rise of plantations in America. The rise of plantation industry. We all know when one individual is controlling thousands of acres of land, you may not expect land development and increase in productivity. But now these stories are being removed from the scene. The estates have been fragmented and made as sizable acres of land where initiatives of the peasants can be implemented. This led to increased productivity, and America began to witness after the revolution huge increase in production, and then this we can say is one of the main reasons for the growth of plantation industry in the American continent. So this agriculture reform that has been undertook by the government of America after independence provided for great agricultural production, and this very, very specifically happened in the southern colonies or the southern states of America. We all know that the tropical products like cotton, sugarcane, they are of high commercial importance in Europe, and we know that in the American topography and climate, the southern states are more suitable to produce the tropical products. So these particular tropical products began to develop in the southern states. So the southern states of America became hotbeds of agricultural productivity and rise of plantation industry. So this we have to keep in mind. When we come to American Civil War, we will understand why this rise of plantation in the south is very important for the American Civil War. Then and most importantly, America, USA after the formation of independent nation witnessed huge industrial growth. In fact, we all know that the British mercantilist colonial policies, we studied about Navigation Acts, we studied about Iron Act, we studied about import-export regulations, we studied about Molasses Act, and how all the acts of Britain kept restrictions on American industries. And now the British is out, USA is independent nation, the USA or the nation is ready to support the industries. So this provided a huge opportunity for the rise of manufacturing industry in the America. There was rise of coal, iron, cotton, sugar industries in America. In fact, the USA, once it has been formed, the federal government began to support the industrial activities very, very vigorously. They have set up what is famously called as a national bank to support the industrial activities. And they also brought about many legislations which helped the growth of industries in America. So America began to witness the rise of manufacturing industry. And then in the manufacturing industry, very specifically, they focused on shipping industry. We know that shipping industry has been kept under controls by Britain. Now those controls have been done away. So USA promoted shipping industry. It did two important things to promote shipping industry. First and foremost, it opened up her ports to the private parties or the other national ships. Ports have been opened up. And secondly, it supported private navigation in the American waters. In fact, they passed a very important act called Tonnage Act. An act called Tonnage Act. This Tonnage Act played very important role in the growth of shipping industry. America witnessed such a huge industrial growth, uncomparable industrial growth, to the extent that by the end of 19th century, by the beginning of 20th century, America became the largest producer of coal and iron in the world, surpassing the first industrial nation, even the Britain. So in a span of 100 years, America achieved what England took to achieve in 300 years. So we can say in one sense that American Revolution removed the trade regulations of Britain from America that facilitated agriculture and industrial growth and finally led to the rise of capitalist economy in America. So they took a birth of American capitalism, which led to the growth of production in America. So economically America became very stronger to the extent that it even surpassed Britain by the end of 19th century. Now the third important one, or the third category we are going to discuss, the impact or the social impact of American Revolution. We know that American Revolution had proposed huge degree of social equality. So American Revolution's social impact. First and foremost, with the success of American Revolution, America further witnessed growth of education. In fact, after the American Revolution success, USA began to set up public educational institutions. Earlier, there were many universities. You had Princeton, Yale, but these are mostly private. Now, the government of America itself began to look at education as an important activity, and many public education institutions have been set up. So America witnessed wide spread of modern education. And more importantly, there was growth in women education. They specifically promoted education among the women. In fact, this education of women facilitated increase or the betterment in the status of women. So education and status of women both began to improve on the American continent. Then American continent witnessed rise in social and economic infrastructure. As I already said, there were educational institutions. Further, hospitals were also set up. Child care centers were also set up. So a new degree of social infrastructure began to rise, coupled with strong transportation system that facilitated movement of people from one colony to another colony. This transportation system, that means roads and railways and even coastal navigation, facilitated social development in America and also helped the integrity of America. So not only on political and economic front, the American Revolution also promoted social development on American colonies. In fact, it is said that America was able to compress historical process into 1 century what it took 1000 years for the Europe. So what this statement is saying, that the historical process of the socio-economic political development that in the Europe took 1000 years was achieved in America just in 1 century. That is why we say that American Revolution's most significant impact was on America itself, which led to the America's socio-economic and political development. Now we will look, this is the first area, the impact of American Revolution over British continent, over America itself, the internal impact. Now we will look at what is the impact of American Revolution over England. Impact on England. We know that England is the second important player in the American Revolution. American Revolution left a profound impact on England. In fact, as I told you, it is the first rude shock to the British supremacy on the colonial world. When we are studying the impact of American Revolution over England, we have to categorize it into 2 levels. First, on impact on British political system, and the second one is impact on British colonial policies. So it did not leave just the British political system. American Revolution had a very huge degree of impact over British colonial policies. Now we know that Britain at the time of American Revolution was having constitutional monarchy, but the king was yielding more powers. King played important role, and also the defeat of Britain in the American War of Independence was ascribed to the weakness and the failure of king. So the defeat of England and the loss of American colonies greatly degraded the prestige of British crown. It proved the inability of absolute monarchy in retaining the colonies, and this in turn facilitated the further growth of cabinet form of government, further growth of the strength of British Parliament in the England. So we can say that American Revolution has promoted the development of, or the further development of democracy in the British Parliament in the England. We know that 1688 England witnessed glorious revolution where the idea of constitutional monarchy began to develop. The defeat of England in the hands of American colonies, the naive American colonies, further facilitated this growth. So in Britain, the power and strength of British cabinet, British elected cabinet increased at the expense of British king, British crown. In fact, after the defeat of England in the American war, a new prime minister by name Pitt the Younger, a very important man, a very popular man, Pitt, he was elected as a prime minister, and his successful reign led to the strengthening of British democracy. Then coming to British colonial policies, American Revolution left British colonial policies in a complete disarray. We know that from 16th century, 17th, 18th century middle, Britain was on the rise in her colonial strength and has been regarded as the most powerful colonial nation, and that nation itself received the first defeat in the hands of colonized people, and this was a rude shock for the entire British colonial policies. And this American Revolution success discredited the British mercantilist policies. We can say in one sense, American Revolution provided death knell to the idea of mercantilism. What is mercantilism? Mercantilism is a basic philosophy that was behind the initial colonization of the world, where it is believed that nations have to accumulate the wealth. Nations have to occupy the other countries, exploit their resources and accumulate wealth, whether it was gold, silver or any precious stones. This also believed that trade has to be done through government-led monopoly. Government-led monopoly was the means to perform trade in the colonies. For example, you take the case of East India Company. When East India Company was formed, British Crown has given it complete monopoly over the Asian trade. That means what? British East India Company is trading and occupying the land in India and other parts of Asia as only as a representative of England. So mercantilism believed that monopolistic trade policies are very, very useful for colonization. And the same mercantilism made England to pass Navigation Act, Import-Export Regulations, Iron Act, Molasses Act, Stamp Act, Quartering Act, all those acts on the American colonies, which infuriated American colonial people and led to American Revolution. So this success of American Revolution discredited mercantilism, and Britain gradually shifted from mercantilism to the idea of free trade. Adam Smith and his laissez-faire was already popular in Britain, and that theory of free trade has been encouraged by the defeat of Britain in the American Revolution. The belief that let the trade be done by private individual companies, let government be only a facilitator, there should not be any monopolies, that will help the growth of business and strength of the nation rather than having only one monopolistic organization. So the idea of free trade became hereafter the thumb rule of British colonialism. Britain quickly shifted. We all know about these Charter Acts, what we studied in our Indian history. 1813, Britain passed a Charter Act where the East India Company's monopoly has been undone in the Asia. Then in 1833, one more Charter Act has been passed where East India Company remained only a political administrative organization and the entire business was kept open to the private parties. So this way, after the rude shock of American Revolution, Britain shifted from mercantilism, the declining mercantilism, to the rising new idea of free trade. Of course, we studied in our Indian history that the free trade and the dumping of British goods in India led to further degradation of colonies. So in the overall structure of colonialism, free trade did not benefit colonies, it only benefited the mother country. So British changed her strategy from mercantilism. So the 15th, 16th century mercantilism finally was buried by the 19th century after the American Revolution. And finally and most importantly, Britain understood that colonies should be governed in a very responsible way. Colonies must be kept under strict control. So two new ideas have come in the British colonialism: responsible government and strong control. See, look at the way the American colonies have been ruled. We are known that American colonies have been given huge autonomy. They were given colonial assemblies, they were given urban self-governance institutions, but still they were not satisfied. And Britain did not keep control over all the activities of American colonies, only what was benefiting them, trade was controlled. So these autonomy, these freedoms that were given to American colonies backfired against Britain, and that led to American nationalism, and that finally led to the independence of American colonies. So now Britain decided that hereafter I will have strict control over colonies, and I will try to give them more responsible government. So this change in the policy first had a grave impact over India. In India, 1784, a new act has been passed by the British Parliament called the Pitt's Government of India Act. Pitt's India Act. Now there was no precedence. You see, in 1773 when Regulating Act was passed, there was a financial crisis in East India Company, and East India Company wanted some money from England. So that gave opportunity for England to draw a new act. But in 1784 there was no precedence. It was the American Revolution that drove Britain to release a new act called Pitt's India Act, under which the East India Company has been brought under the control of a new government organization. A new organization called Board of Control was established. A new organization called Board of Control was established, which began to oversee the East India Company's activities over the Court of Directors of East India Company. And we all know this Board of Control continued. In fact, at a later date, when the East India Company was abolished in 1858, this Board of Control itself became the Office of India, Indian Office. So Secretary of the State became the head of that Indian office. So the control of England over India and other colonies increased after the American Revolution. And also Britain began to take the feelings and sentiments of colonized people into consideration. It began to take the colonized people into their administrative structures, and they began to take the concerns of the people of the colonies into consideration while ruling. So British colonialism underwent a transformation after the American Revolution, and this helped England to strengthen her control and further gave a life of more than 150 years in her colonial empire. So this middle shock of 1780 was used by England as an opportunity to further strengthen her colonial empire, and gave her another lease of 150 years of colonies in Asia and Africa. So this way England initially suffered, but later on it rebounded, it changed her strategies, and finally became much more and powerful colonial power in the eastern part of the world. Though it lost her American possessions in the Africa, Australia, Canada and India and other parts of Asia, it became more powerful. Now third and very interesting impact, we are going to now look at the international impact of American Revolution. What is the significance of American Revolution for the world? I told you that American Revolution is so impactful that it is called the first modern revolution of the world. And now we will see why American Revolution is so important for the world. First, American Revolution inspired French Revolution. In a one single simple statement we can say that French Revolution was inspired by the success of American colonies, where the ideas of Rousseau was a Frenchman, Montesquieu was a French philosopher. These ideas were already very, very popular in the France, but they were first implemented in the America. So the French leaders and French middle classes who are already existing, they became very attracted and influenced by the success of American Revolution. So the success in America helped the growth of democratic sentiments in the French people and facilitated the growth of French Revolution. Now it's a very interesting episode. France helped America to fight against England, and the success of America in turn brought down that French monarchy and led to the rise of French Republic. It was French monarchy that helped America, And the same success of American Revolution hit back on French monarchy, facilitated French Revolution and the rise of the ideas of the liberty, equality and fraternity. One important issue will help us how it happened. We know that the French soldiers participated in American War of Independence. Those French soldiers who participated in American War of Independence went back and propagated what they saw in America and how the ideals were implemented. One important personality by name Lafayette. Lafayette was a military leader who fought in the American Revolution under the George Washington itself. He was very close to George Washington. So Lafayette, when he went back to France, propagated the ideas of American Revolution, in a way helping the rise of revolutionary sentiments in the France. And we know the impact of French Revolution and how it spreaded the ideas of liberty, equality, fraternity like a wildfire in the entire Europe and then in the entire world. So American Revolution is very impactful in this. Number 2. American Revolution brought thorough changes in the model of colonialism and model of imperialism underwent radical changes after American Revolution. In fact, we can say American Revolution marked the end of the first phase of colonialism of the modern world. It was a rude shock for the Europeans that their own population who settled in the colonies now declared themselves independent against their own mother nation. So this brought a change, and earlier the mode of colonialism was expansion. And now they began to focus on consolidation. The European nations shed their further plans of expansion in the world and began to consolidate their colonies. For example, England after American Revolution began to establish her paramountcy in England. If you look at British expansion after the American Revolution, they speedily expanded and began to control the princely states and established their paramountcy in a span of 20 years. Then if you take France, which was there only in the corner of Indochina, and when it was trying to expand in India, it gave out her Indian colonies to England and then began to focus on consolidation in Indochina, today's Laos, Vietnam and Cambodia. Dutch, which were very strong in spice colonies, had presence in Ceylon and as well as India. But now, rather than expanding into other parts, they consolidated and consolidated their control over Spice Islands, which later on went on to become Indonesia. So we can understand that American Revolution brought a thorough changes in the mode of colonialism from expansion to consolidation, and it also brought a pause in colonial expansion. This pause ended only after the 1870 formation of Germany and Italy. We will study and understand in European history. So till 1870 you will find that there is no further quest to expand. The spirit of colonization and expansion of their empires has come to a halt, and now the focus is on keeping what is in their hand strongly, consolidation. Third, American Revolution facilitated rise of new political movements across the world. We know that American Constitution is a compendium of modern ideas. We can say it's an encyclopedia of all modern ideas. The ideas of different philosophers who were very popular all have been brought in and kept in one document, that is American Constitution. So inspired by this, there were rise of many political movements in the world under the influence of America. There were movements of democracy, there were movements for federation, there were also movements for liberation from the colonial rule. Among these important political movements, two areas witnessed anti-colonial protests. Among all the political movements inspired by America, anti-colonial movements were very important. Or we can say nationalist movements, either you can call it anti-colonial movements or they are nationalist movements. Two areas of the world immediately witnessed nationalistic movements after American Revolution. First one was Ireland. This is another impact over England in a way. We know that Ireland is part of United Kingdom, but they are always fighting for their rights and independence. So the Irish nationalist movement received huge impetus after American Revolution. In fact, many Irish Americans fought in American Revolution. They played a very important role in the war against England. So that same motivation went to Ireland, and Ireland began to press for more freedoms, and England was forced to give political and economic concessions to the Ireland after American Revolution. So we can say that Ireland gained some autonomy within United Kingdom after American Revolution. And second and most important, Latin America, which is an immediate neighbor to North American continent, witnessed strong rise of nationalistic sentiments after American Revolution. The United States of America, after it has been consolidated herself by the beginning of 19th century, began to support these Latin American movements. In fact, we know that Latin America is largely under Spanish and Portuguese colonization. Mostly Spanish, one or two countries like Brazil were under the control of Portuguese. So USA, once it has strengthened herself, it began to encourage the Latin American nations. It began to provide ideological, political and even economic support to the Latin American freedom movements. This created a wave of freedom struggles in Latin America. At this juncture, we should remember another great fighter, Simon Bolivar. Simon Bolivar of South America, inspired by the USA model, inspired by the US ideology, inspired by the Federation of USA, supported by the USA, launched fights against Spain. This led, by the beginning of 19th century, independence movements and independence of Latin American nations. One by one, these Latin American nations began to come out of the control of Spain and Portuguese. However, Spain did not accept this defeat and loss of colonies so easily. In the 1820s, Spain, after the, of course, Napoleonic warfare ended, Congress of Vienna settled, Spain began to further try to take back the colonies of Latin America. Under these circumstances, America played a very, very important role. The American president, a great man by name Monroe, has issued a famous doctrine in 1823 Monroe Doctrine. Monroe stated that it is a time now the Europeans should stop considering American continent as areas of colonization. Don't think that you can come anywhere and settle down and then convert it as a colony. Those days have been gone. There are local population and they have their rights. So he opposed Europeans considering American continent as an area for colonization. In fact, he gave that famous slogan, America for Americans. So 1823 Monroe Doctrine, which concluded saying that America for Americans, prevented the Europeans' interference in American matters. Thereafter, USA began to play the role of leader for the entire Latin American countries. It began to oppose European colonization. It played a very important role in Cuba against Spain, in Venezuela against Britain. In fact, these all small petty issues culminated in 1898, a very famous war between Spain and America, 1898 Spanish-American War. And this finally thoroughly defeated Spain, and this facilitated the end of Spanish and Portuguese colonialism in the American continent. So we can say that liberation of Latin America from the European colonial nations and liberation of Latin America into independent countries has been achieved due to the success of American Revolution and the formation of USA. So, Latin America felt the heat of American ideologies, and support of Americans helped them to liberate themselves from the colonial clutches of Spain and Portugal. So, USA did not just stop or began to enjoy her independence, it promoted the ideas among the other nations. In fact, the impact of American Revolution did not stop at Latin America and Ireland. The countries in Asia, countries in Africa also got motivated by American Revolution. So, in the distant past, in the distant future, we can see that American Revolution provided inspiration for the anti-colonial struggles of all the nations of the world. In fact, we can say after World War II, America played a very important role in the decolonization of Asia and Africa. So, America has become a flag bearer of the idea of nationalism in the world. The last and most important impact of American Revolution. American Revolution led to the formation of USA, we know, the most resourceful nation of the world, and this facilitated expansion of America. Expansion of America or expansion of USA. So, this expansion is from the east coast of Atlantic nation to the entire world. We know that by the time of formation of USA, American colonies were roughly 13 on the east coast of Atlantic, and now these American colonies have expanded to the extent that they began to control most of the world. So, now we have to understand how from the east coast of Atlantic Ocean, America expanded so strongly and began to influence the major decisions of the world. The American expansion after the American Revolution can be classified again into two, that is westward expansion and American colonialism. We know that even before American Revolution, the leaders and the people of American colonies were interested to expand westward. We know that the Queen or the British Royal Proclamation was issued after 1763, which prevented the American colonial people to go west in order to avoid unnecessary conflict with the native population. So, there were two major reasons why the American colonists wanted to expand west. First, due to their rising new national consciousness. They know that they have become a very strong nation, and that nation they wanted to show the greatness to the world by expanding to the west. And the second and most important, they wanted to develop and take benefit of the vast resources that are there in the American continent beyond the Atlantic coast. So, they began to understand that yes, we are having high degree of resources, but in the west part of America there are further resources. So, they began their quest to expand to the Pacific Ocean from the Atlantic coast. So, on one side patriotic sentiments, on the other side economic benefit drove the American colonial people towards the westward expansion. When USA was formed, river Mississippi was considered to be the western boundary of USA, and thereafter gradually these colonial people began to expand, and the first major expansion happened in 1803 when USA purchased a very important province called Louisiana from the France. There was a province on the western side of American continent called Louisiana in the hands of France. Napoleon has given that to the America. He sold it. With the taking over of this Louisiana in 1803 from the France, America expanded from Mississippi River to Rocky Mountains on the west coast. With this, now they have got access to the west. They began to develop transportation infrastructure. They began to develop a lot of railways connecting American east coast with the Louisiana, and this further facilitated their westward expansion. They took over Florida from Spain, and then Texas, which gained independence from the Spain, was also joined America, and finally they took over a very large and very resourceful state called California. However, this taking over of California is a dark episode in American history, because they waged a very infamous war against their own American colleague nation, Mexico. By defeating Mexico thoroughly, they took over California. So, from the Mississippi River to Louisiana, Texas, Florida and California, America began to push towards the Pacific coast. In fact, there emerged a new idea, the idea of manifest destiny. The American leadership in the 19th century beginnings began to promote that it is the manifest destiny of American nation, USA, to go to the Pacific. That means they said that it is a destiny, that is why we have settled in the east, and our destiny is driving us towards the Pacific coast. So they brought a strong ideological support to the westward expansion. So we will see by the end of 19th century, from Atlantic coast, the entire American North continent up to Pacific, including California, Texas, Florida, has been annexed with USA, and USA began to emerge as a very, very big nation. In fact, this westward expansion was not out of dangers. There were many conflicts with the local Indian population, there were conflict with the Mexicans, there were conflict with the local leadership of Texas, Florida, California. There was a war with Mexico. All of them were so very, very dangerous for Americans, but they still took that in order to expand the America. Now you understand, we have seen so many western movies in the Hollywood, Wild Wild West. You all seen that cowboy movies. So that was in the background of this westward expansion. When they were expanding west, the Americans used to think that there is lawlessness, there is a new culture in the west. So from that imagination only these western movies or the cowboy movies have emerged. So the westward expansion is one very important epoch in the history of America, which made America very, very powerful and big nation, and the American Revolution and its success is the main reason which facilitated this expansion. Because British were controlling the expansion, once the British control is taken out, Americans went to the west and expanded and made it a very, very big country. So we can say this is also a kind of American colonialism, but more profoundly we will find that after the first half of 19th century, America began to show interest in dominating other countries. So it is the irony in the history of the world that colonized people who fought against their mother nation and gained independence, who were the torch bearers of nationalistic sentiments, they themselves began to go towards colonialism. So the second important impact of this expansion of America is the rise of American colonialism. But there is a variation in American orientation. American colonialism mostly believed in the economic domination of other nations without direct political control. We have some exceptions where America has occupied some territories, but largely America focused on controlling the territories by means of economic domination, avoiding political occupation. Political occupation was a last resort. So this is also called as neo-colonialism. Some later historians referred to American colonialism as the neo-colonialism. This American colonialism took shape where America began to interfere in the matters of Cuba against Spain, where America began to interfere in the matters of Venezuela against England. America fought a war with England in order to avoid English interference, and in fact 1823 Monroe Doctrine, which stated that America is for Americans, also indirectly supported that in this area now there is a regional power, that is USA, and USA has to take benefit out of these American nations but not the Europeans. So gradually from leading these nations against the Europeans, America shifted towards dominating these nations for her economic and political benefit. Most of the countries which were taking birth from colonialism of Spain and Portugal, they came under American domination. Colombia, Venezuela, then Cuba, even Panama, all of them came under the domination of America. But the most important event in the American history of colonialism was again the 1898 war with Spain. America thoroughly defeated Spain in 1898, completely removed Spain from the Pacific and the Latin American areas, and thereby it began to expand her influence in those areas. After 1898, America took control of Hawaii Islands, Philippines. They were completely ruled by America, like protectorates or colonies. Hawaii Islands, then Philippines, then the area of Panama. Panama Canal we know is very very important to navigate in the American area between Pacific and the Atlantic. So Panama area was under the rule of America. Then indirectly America began to control Cuba. In the Cuban continent, in the Cuban island, we know that some area called Guantanamo is still under the US domination. So US began to establish her controls not only in the Latin American areas, and it gradually shifted towards the Pacific. With the taking over of Philippines, America began to put her step in the Pacific area, began to occupy many islands in that area, and began to emerge as a power in the Pacific Ocean. And this America's expansion into Pacific Ocean gradually gave rise of further American intervention in China and Japan. In the later half of 19th century, we see by the beginning of 20th century, we see America playing an important role in Japan and China. In China, America in fact emphasized what is popularly called as open door policy. That means China should not be colonized by any one European country. All countries including America must be given a right to trade with China. So America began to take benefit out of China. So that means along with the Latin America, American influence in the Pacific began to reach the other side of Pacific, that is China. And that is where American interest in the first half of 20th century began to conflict with the interests of Japan, another rising power in the area. So the development of American expansion after American Revolution, initially the westward expansion, later on American colonialism, entered Pacific, and finally it culminated in America's competition with the rising power Japan, and we know this conflict is the main reason for America's entrance into World War II. So now we can summarize that American Revolution is a highly significant event, not only for American colonies but also for England and the world. For the American colonies, it provided strong political base by means of American Constitution, which was achieved after a prolonged struggle. And this American Constitution and American government provided for capitalist form of economy in both industry and agriculture in the USA. So USA became extremely influential, powerful. It became one of the major industrialized nations of the world. Also it helped the social growth, educational growth, growth of women, and growth of consciousness against slavery in the American continent. So America became socially, economically, politically strong after American Revolution, to the extent that at a later date it began to lead the world. Secondly, we have seen how it impacted England. England domestic politics underwent a change where cabinet form of government became powerful. On the other hand, England brought reforms in her colonial policy, kept at bay the mercantilism and adopted idea of free trade and began to further control and trying to provide responsible government in the colonies. So, British colonial policies underwent a drastic change, gave a new lease of life to the British Empire. On the last count, we understood what is the international impact and significance of American Revolution. American Revolution motivated French Revolution. American Revolution motivated new political movements against colonialism in Ireland, Latin America, and even at a later date in Asia and Africa. And in the Latin America, America even directly supported them politically, ideologically, economically, and helped them to gain independence from the European colonial leaders. America and American Revolution success brought about a change in the colonial pattern from expansion to consolidation. It provided the first break in the colonial expansion that began after 15th century. Till 1870, there was less fashion and passion for colonization by the Europeans. After American Revolution, it brought a break, and finally American Revolution facilitated expansion of America, expansion from east to coast to the Pacific, building a very big nation, further providing opportunity for American colonialism, where America began to expand initially her control in Latin America and later on in the Pacific, even reaching the China, where her interests conflicted with Japan, leading to World War II. Fine. Now in the next class we will be reading about American Civil War. We have already discussed some basic developments in America after the American Revolution, and these developments will help as a background to understand the American Civil War. Thank you.